Hey there, how are you today? So welcome. We are going to be practicing the pause. So this is building off of the exercise we did on the hunger scale. And hopefully you practiced using the hunger scale and you're familiar with how it works, how your body feels when it's hungry, and how your body feels when it's satisfied. More importantly, hopefully you have a better understanding of the difference between physical hunger and emotional hunger. So now what we're going to do is take it to the next level. We're going to practice the pause. So what this means is exactly what it suggests. Practice hitting your own pause button. You know, when I say practicing the pause, I always think of watching Netflix or watching my favorite show. And, you know, someone starts talking to me and interrupts the show and I just have to hit the pause button, right? This is no different, okay? You're literally hitting the pause button on your life. So the reason this is so important is because practicing the pause is a great way to help you stay in the present moment. And it's also a great way to practice stopping so that you can make a conscious choice instead of an unconscious one. Like I always think of those times in my life from before when I used to be a stress eater, when like I would finish the half gallon of ice cream and be like, what just happened, right? Where like I didn't even fully realize what was happening in the moment. Or, you know, I had someone tell me a story once. They were eating peppermint patties. You know, they had a bag of the mini peppermint patties. And they said, Amy, I don't know what happened. I put my bag in to get another one and they were gone. Like they had eaten the entire bag of peppermint patties in a sitting. Okay. And so if you've been a stress eater or any other kind of emotional eater, this may sound very familiar, right? It's like before you know it, the bag is empty or the container is empty. And you're kind of like, what just happened? Did I really eat all of that? It was an unconscious choice to go to the kitchen and to get whatever food you picked, right? And typically that's happening in a moment when you're feeling, you know, stressed, sad, bad, angry, you know, you pick it, right? So when we practice pausing, we're just kind of taking a step back, all right? And then that allows you to evaluate what's happening in the moment, what's going on in your mind, and how you're feeling in your body. So it kind of brings everything together. And when I say it's a great way to practice being present, I want to share a little story with you. So a little while ago, I had a family emergency. Something happened in my family, to my mom in particular, and it was very scary. She had a bit of an accident. I'm not going to go into details. She's doing great now, but it was a really scary time for my family. And during that time, you know, I had to travel. I had to fly back to Pennsylvania and to New York. And there was a lot happening, a lot of moving pieces, very stressful, lots of worry, lots of fear. And during that time, I really practiced pausing. Because what that did is it was helping me tune into the present moment, not going to what happened and what could have happened, and not going into the future of like what might happen now, you know, like what's going to happen, and kind of letting my mind create all of these stories. It was able to keep me in the present moment where I was able to check in and say, okay, you know, how is my mom doing in this moment? You know, how am I doing in this moment? Do we have everything we need? Is everyone okay in this moment? And I'll tell you, during that time when everything was happening, that was it was such an incredible opportunity for me to stay really calm, cool, and collected. It was incredible. So that's just an example of how really practicing this and pausing and stopping to ask yourself those questions, like what's happening in the moment? How am I feeling? What am I thinking? Because this is a big one. Because how many times are we thinking something that's not serving us, something that's not helpful, something we don't even know is true, right? So it's an opportunity to kind of just question, what am I thinking right now? Is that serving me? If it's not, then why am I thinking it? I don't want to think it. What am I feeling right now? Is there something stressful happening? Is there something going on? Are you feeling a certain way? Why? And then also asking the questions, back to the hunger scale, am I hungry right now? Right? What does it feel like in my body? And just being able to stop, and this takes a couple seconds, right? Just to kind of check in, pause. I like to ask myself when I pause, do I have everything I need right now? Do I have a roof over my head? Do I have food in my belly? Do I have clean drinking water? Right? Just the basics. Really taking it back to necessities. Do I have clothes on my back? I'm okay right now. I am safe in this moment. So throughout the day today, what I would love for you to do is practice pausing. Because when you practice intentionally pausing, right, this then becomes very helpful. When you practice doing it intentionally, you can continue doing it throughout the day. Again, it becomes part of your everyday where you're just checking in with yourself, right? So you want to practice doing it so it kind of becomes part of a new habit that you're forming of checking in with yourself. Because then when you're able to check in with yourself, you're able to make a decision. So here's an example. Okay, something's you have a bad day at work, right? And I know for me, if I had a bad day at work, I was in the pantry looking for anything that I could eat that was quick and crunchy and that I could just grab. And a lot of times it was my kids' Teddy Grahams. Yeah. So I would be standing there and I would just be eating the Teddy Grahams, right? So what I'm suggesting is that instead of doing that, you're pausing to check in, say what's happening right now? What am I feeling? I'm feeling stress. Okay. What am I thinking? Whatever the thoughts that are going on in your mind. Do I want to eat this right now? And then you can make a conscious choice. Here's what I would do. I would say, okay, what am I thinking in this moment? How am I feeling? Am I hungry? I'm not hungry. So then I check in, see where I'm at on the hunger scale. Okay, I'm not hungry right now. Why do I want to eat these Teddy Grahams? Do I want to eat these Teddy Grahams? And then in that moment, I'm able to make a conscious decision. And when you've been any kind of emotional eater for any period of time, being able to make that conscious choice is huge. That is a big step towards stopping the habit, even if you still eat the stuff, okay? And this is important to know, right? Again, we've checked our judgment at the door for these 5 days because we're exploring with kindness and compassion and curiosity. So hear me when I say, even if you still eat the thing, you've made a conscious choice to do it. You're taking ownership of that. You're taking responsibility. It's not I don't know what happened, right? It's I chose to eat the box of Teddy Grahams. I chose to eat the bag of chips. I chose to eat the cookies, right? You made that conscious choice. Take ownership of it and take responsibility. Because that right there is a huge step in a new direction and a way to continue to learn how to stop doing this, right? So again, Today is all about practicing that pause. So what I would love for you to do is set the timer on your phone to go off every hour of the day. Now, I know some people work, and I know that this is not realistic for everybody. So do what works for you. You know, if you are in a position where you cannot have your alarm go off every single hour, I totally understand. Then maybe you don't do it during your working hours, do it in the evening hours. Or if you work in the evening, maybe you do it during the daytime hours, whatever. Just while you're awake and when you have the ability to do this, set your timer to go off. Set your timer on your phone to ring to prompt you to pause. Okay, so your alarm's gonna go off, and you're going to pause and ask yourself the question that I put here, you know, in the text. Ask yourself the questions. What am I thinking? What am I feeling? What's going on in this moment? Do I have what I need? Am I hungry? Ask the questions. And it can be real helpful to write down the answers, because again, this is just getting you in the habit of pausing and checking in with yourself and noticing, so that then you can make a decision. All right. So today is all about practicing the pause, and let me know if you have any questions, and have fun with it. Okay. Remember, you're exploring, you're practicing, and this is all with kindness, compassion, and curiosity. All right. I'll see you soon. Bye.